is anyone's guess. David Shulkin is a former VA secretary under the president, I believe also fired via tweet, but I don't know that for sure. Secretary, how were you informed that you were let go?
Neil, you're absolutely right. I was fired by tweet. And when I entered public service, I didn't even know that was possible. But nowadays, it's obviously becoming a little bit more common.
So when you went into the office or tried to go into the office, or were you on your way to the office and you found out you don't have an office?
Yeah, that's right. I had spoken to the president. We had a very good call talking about the business that was before the Department of Veteran Affairs. And a couple hours later, I had just gotten home, and I was actually speaking to my wife on the phone. And she said to me, "Oh, my goodness, I just got a tweet from the president, and it looks like you've been let go." And so not much warning, but, this is becoming more common. I think it's happened to a large number of people at this point, and it certainly has set a new precedent for public service.
Then again, I always figure when I'm eventually, let go, I hope that never happens, Secretary. I just don't think my key will work. Maybe that's it. They just don't, they change your key or they make it inoperable. But all kidding aside, the president obviously didn't waste a nanosecond dumping his defense secretary, whose views on the president using, security forces and all at the time, the protest movement never sat well with the president. So it was a matter of timing. We're told the CIA director could be next. What do you make of this house cleaning with a presidency that might be limited to the next 7 or 8 weeks?
Neil, all of us who go into public service understand that we serve at the pleasure of the president, and none of us expect that these jobs are easy. They're not supposed to be easy. But I am concerned about the constant turnover and the way that public servants are let go. The most important thing, the job of government, is to assure the safety of its people. And that does require a continuity of leadership and a consistency in the way that we operate. And certainly, I was part of the transition between the Obama administration and the Trump administration,
right.
Assuring that there is appropriate continuity of government is one of the key issues that we have to do to ensure the safety of people. And I don't think many people recognize how vulnerable a time this transition can be. And so I'm concerned about the constant turnover of people and the inability to recognize why this transition time is so important, so that we have cooperation between the outgoing administration and the incoming administration.
Well, they're not sharing intelligence information with Joe Biden yet. That might change. I'm not aware of the protocol, Secretary. I guess the GSA leader has to write off on it. She has not yet done that. So Joe Biden can't get access to the type of information as president-elect he should. Does that worry you?
It does worry me. That process that the GSA has to do is called ascertainment. That just begins the process. But you have to remember that everybody in their agencies have been hard at work preparing these transition plans. And there's a reason why this is legally required, because when you transition on January 20th, you have 4,000 people, these political appointees who have been leading their agencies, leave at noon. And then it takes a while to get 4,000 new political appointees back into those agencies to lead. 1,250 of them, of course, require confirmation by the U.S. Senate. So this just doesn't happen overnight. And so the transition period is actually critical and essential to the continuity of government. And it's why it's so important when you do this in an agency like the one that I led, with over 400,000 employees, a budget of $210 billion. That just doesn't happen overnight. It actually takes a lot of work and a lot of time to transition appropriately.
Secretary, we don't know where things stand right now or what's in the president's head and his thinking, and this rally on his behalf in Washington today, arguing that he should keep up the fight, don't steal the election from the president. But there will eventually come a math moment where you just look at the numbers and you acknowledge that it's not working out. You put up a good fight, etc. Do you think the president will come to that? Do you think that he will graciously concede the race to Joe Biden when that moment comes? And do you think he'll go to the inauguration or his successor?
Neil, I think when you have an election that was this divisive, it is important that people on both sides, whoever won this election, have the chance to make sure that they believe it's a fair election. But I do believe it's essential to unify this country and to put the country above individuals' interests, to start bringing that together. And it is clear that one candidate has reached 270 electoral votes, and by our Constitution, that means that there is going to be a new administration. And so I certainly hope that the president recognizes and puts the country's interests first and begins to start working towards a transition.
Do you think he will? Do you think he will do that? You know him very well. Do you think he will do that?
I do believe that the president's going to do that, because I believe that this president loves this country, and I believe he's going to understand that's the best thing to do, to put the country first.
Secretary David Shulkin, thank you very, very much for your hard work on behalf of the nation's